Hello, this is Jonah Rosenblum, sports reporter at the Record-Courier, and welcome to Portage Football Live. Let's take a quick look at Week 1, where the Garfield G-Men offense, traditionally run-based, exploded through the air. Dalton Fall completed 12 out of 15 passes for 293 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's 24.4 yards per completion and 19.5 per attempt. Maximum efficiency indeed. We also saw a little bit more of an uneven performance from the Woodridge offense, even if the game was a rout. We saw King Alfred Sanders. He was exactly like we remembered him, 118 rushing yards and 16 carries. On the other hand, Mason Leidick, very uncharacteristic, completed just 4 of 12 passes, 2 touchdowns but 2 picks. We'll see how he rebounds in Week 2. Speaking of Week 2, a couple of big matches. We've got the Aurora Green Men trying to avoid an 0-2 start with a very tough foe in Euclid. We've got the Southeast Pirates, a very talented defensive team, going up against the Field Falcons. We've also got Ravenna, the Ravenna Ravens, trying to avoid an 0-2 start. They lost in overtime last week to Talmadge, but they showed great hints of promise when their Wildcat offense led them back from a 21-7 fourth quarter deficit. They've got Marlington this week. Marlington was 6-4 last year, including a very impressive win over Crestwood. And speaking of Crestwood, that's our Record-Courier game of the week, as the Red Devils host the Streetsboro Rockets. It should be a clash of great offenses as the Rockets and their dynamic receiving duo of Dakari Carter and Keyshawn Jones travel to play Logan Tooth and the Red Devils. For more information on that game, I travel to Streetsboro and Manaway.
This is Jonah Rosenblum of the Record-Courier, live from Streetsboro High School. The Rockets are 1-0 after an opening victory in Palmyra Township against the Southeast Pirates. But if Coach John Arlesic has told his team anything, it's that a -3 turnover differential probably won't work again if the Rockets want to be 2-0.
I think the biggest thing is that, if we are -3 in a turnover battle, we're going to lose a football game. That's the first thing I talked about.
There was plenty of reason for optimism despite 3 picks and 1 fumble in Week 1. One of the leading reasons for optimism was the return of Dakari Carter, who looked to be fully 100% on the field. He was spectacular, and his teammate Keyshawn Jones, fellow wide receiver, fellow dynamic threat. Jones looked great as well.
Well, I think Dakari and Keyshawn got off on a good foot. The scary part is I think they have a lot of room to grow still together. They're definitely explosive. I think they showed that. I think we had a couple of missed opportunities that would have been even more of an impressive performance than what they already did.
It's certainly a challenge. You watch those guys on film and their scrimmages and what they did last week against Southeast, and I'm at heart I'm a defensive coach, and I'm not getting much sleep this week with visions of all those guys running through our secondary, and hoping we can stay in front of them.
And they also found that Will Butler improved as the game went on and showed tremendous poise after a number of early turnovers. Key to Streetsboro's efforts will be the defensive front. They did a great job last week against Stoll of Southeast, but this week has an even more ominous challenge: Logan Toot and Michael Picone of the Crestwood Red Devils.
Logan plays with a lot of heart, desire, and passion that every head football coach wants every player to play with. And I think, the bottom line in the second half, Logan wanted to play the football a lot more than Westbrook.
Anytime you rush for, I think we rushed for 450 or 460 yards, in that game. Anytime you put up gaudy rushing numbers like that, you have to look for your offensive line.
Their success in stopping Crestwood's vaunted running game may well determine the victor Friday night. Hello, this is Jonah Rosenblum at Record-Courier welcoming you to Manaway, Ohio, and Jack Lambert Stadium, where the Crestwood Red Devils will play host to the Streetsboro Rockets in the Record-Courier game of the week. Both teams are 1-0, and the Red Devils, of course, are coming off a historic run that galvanized the town of Manaway.
It really will be, the first time we've been on the field since, the first week of November last year, winning the first ever playoff game in school history. So. And like I said, having a great team like Streetsboro and being a backyard rival and having us not played them for 4 years now, the expectation is it's a great atmosphere and great environment on Friday night.
They won their first ever postseason game and advanced all the way to the regional final. And in Week 1, there was continued cause for optimism as Logan Toot, behind a relatively young and inexperienced offensive line, had no problems. He ran all over the field.
You know, from the second quarter on in that game, our offensive line just gelled. And, you know, we really praised them when the game was over for being in great physical shape.
And the Red Devils gave fans plenty of reason to believe as they look for another run to rival the historic run they made in 2015.
So, you know, the expectation is with playing a backyard rival with Streetsboro week 1, that Jack Lambert Stadium is rocking and packed and, you know, going to be ready to go, and the community will come out in full force on Friday night.